Hey everyone, it's Brent, host of the FSA Podcast. On this show, we teach online health coaches how to sell at a higher rate and scale their businesses with more profit. Now, the way that we do that is through our sustainable growth model, which we'll probably dive into here shortly. But today, the reason you need to stick around for this episode is I am joined by AJ Morton, the owner of the Fitpro Mentorship Review. Now, AJ is going to show us how he created the Yelp for Fit Pros to find high integrity coaches and get the best bang for their buck. So if you need help choosing your next mentor and avoiding the bad ones, this show is going to give you a ton of insight on where you should potentially go. So AJ, tell me about like your biggest struggle finding a business coach early on in this space.
Yeah, man. First of all, Brent, thank you so much for having me on there, dude. It's an honor. I loved having connected with you over the past few months. But yeah, so my journey with mentorship, is like a lot of people's. I think it started in 2015. At this point, I'm back in Chicago at the time, and I had a really young family of four that I was trying to support myself, and I was renting space out of a studio in Chicago. And I wanted to, just like anyone else, I wanted to scale it. Like I wanted a certain lifestyle for me and my family. I wanted to not be at the gym so many hours a day, like, putting all my time and effort into it. And so I was like, hey, I really need to scale this thing and figure it out. I don't know how to do marketing. I don't know how to do lead generation. They don't teach you that in PT school. So, you're kind of always on your own on that stuff. So, at the time, the only place to really find a mentor was on your Facebook feed, right? Whoever you were following. Groups weren't like that big of a deal yet. They were just kind of starting out. And so I saw a couple of people on my Facebook feed, and I was like, you know what? There's this fast talking British guy who sounds like he knows what he's talking about. He's living the life. He's in Spain and traveling around coaching people. And I'm like, that's what I want to do. And so I got on a call with him, and I was like, hey, here's what I'm looking to do. I want to be a better coach. First of all, I want to actually help people. I want to sell high ticket online coaching, and I want to, I want to up level my lifestyle so that I can, really provide on a higher level for my family. And he's like, yep, we're going to make you a great coach. You're going to sell it. You're going to, hit, incredible amounts of money in no time. Let's dive in. It's going to be, what do you say? It's going to be 8K. All right. Now that keep in mind.
And so you saw this guy like on your feed, you reached out and you're like, hey, you are living a cool lifestyle. Let me kind of see what you're like. Did he have a coaching program, or were you just reaching out?
He did have a coaching program. Yeah. He had been kind of, talking about it subtly. But yeah, he had been talking about it, and I didn't really have that many other people on my feed who were doing business coaching at the time. And so he was just kind of flashy and living this, nomadic lifestyle that looked really amazing. And that's something that I wanted for myself and for my family. So basically this guy could have sold me anything, and he did. So he sold me, he said it was 8K. And by the way, this is money I didn't have. Like no matter what it was, I didn't have it because we were not established yet. Again, like young family of four.
What was your career at this time? Like how did you have money?
I was making money with my business, but not nearly as much as I wanted to. This was going to go on a credit card. This is going to go on a credit card. It doesn't matter how much it was. It was going to be borrowed money. And I was like, okay, that's a lot of money. I didn't know how much it was going to be before I got on the call. I said, that's a lot of money. Let me think about it. I gotta go talk to my wife. He's like, if you get off the phone, it's gonna be 12K. I'm like, seriously? Like,
unbelievable.
I have to talk to her anyways because if she divorces me, it's going to cost me a lot more than the 4K spread you just created in this pricing.
Yeah.
He's like, you can obviously go talk to your partner, but like it's going to be 4 extra K. I'm like, okay, great. I mean, 8K, 12K doesn't matter. I don't have it anyways. So I got off the phone. That didn't really make me feel very good, but I was talking to my wife, and she's obviously very supportive. And she's like, look, if he's going to teach us how to make 10K a month repeatedly, what does it matter if it costs 8K or 12K? Like, let's go for it. We don't have the money anyways. Let's go.
Yeah.
So we did it, and spent the 12K, put it on a bunch of different credit cards, and got into the program. And the deliverables were like really, really a letdown, like really disappointing.
Yeah. How so?
I mean, he would send me. I had like probably an email a week. There's no modules or anything like that. I got an email a week with like a 90-minute long rant of his, just talking on certain topics and stuff like that. There's no
Jesus.
presentation, no organization. And that's what it was. And there was also really nothing on coaching either. When that was
Is
like
this guy
actually
still
more.
around?
He is still around. He is still around. And, keep in mind, I also leave room in my world for people to improve themselves. And from time to time, I still hear about people working with him, and it doesn't seem like it has, unfortunately. But it was just really bad, and the support was bad too, because I could never reach him because he was in the UK, and so there was no like really good support or anything like that. And I just felt really let down. The one thing that he did, I mean, I actually made a sale in that program. I sold this poor girl on a $3,000 high ticket coaching program that I didn't know how to deliver on, because I also wanted the coaching aspect of it. So I sold her on a $3,000 program that I had no right, charging that amount at the time. I'm not saying it's too much. I'm just saying it's too much for what I had in my arsenal at the time as my first online coaching client.
A lot of self-awareness.
So I felt bad. So to make it up to her, I basically ended up working her for like 6 months just to feel better about the situation. And I really didn't help her that much. And so I guess I did have a little bit of an ROI, but not nearly what I wanted, and it didn't really feel good to me. So I got out of that program, and I was like, I stopped paying him. First of all, I was like, hey, this is not what you told me it was. It's not what I expected it to be. I'm going to go ahead and just stop now. Like, it's all good.
Yeah.
And I got out of that. I was kind of jaded, and I was like, man, had there been a place where I could have just like checked that guy out beforehand, maybe read some reviews, maybe talked to some people about their experience, I might have made the same investment, but at least I would have been able to do my homework and be able to make a more well-rounded, informed decision. And I said, there needs to be like a Yelp, there needs to be like a Yelp for this kind of a thing. It would save people so much time and money. And I was looking around on Google, and I looked out for Facebook groups on it, and there was nothing there. And I was like, well, shit, I'm gonna start it.
Yeah.
So
I have to say it's genius what you did there. In the book, I think it's Flip the Script by Oren Clough. He talks about like familiarity, right? Where people will, when they know something, they know, like, and trust, let's say, a business. And when you can say, I'm like that business, but a little bit different, you skip a lot of steps as far as like building trust. It's like, oh, okay, I kind of already understand what they do. Now I understand how you're different. Right. That's like how, like when Excel, this is just a little snippet here. When Excel was like everywhere and blowing up before Google Docs was a thing, that was Google's entire marketing strategy. Hey, we're Excel, but online, and you can share it with other people. So it's really smart what you've done with like the Yelp for, Fit Pros. So kudos to the branding there.
Thank you. And that's really, honestly, that's just what it started out as. Like, I was just like, hey, let me just set up this group so people can at least start talking about these experiences before they go into it. And interestingly enough, when I started Fitpro Mentorship Review and got a good influx of people in there, I realized that I was like nowhere near alone. Like, this was like an epidemic. Like, people were going through it. And coincidentally, a lot of people who were actually in my cohort, this guy was training other people, they were coming in and leaving reviews too, and they were all pretty much the same. Like, the deliverables were not there, the support was not there, massively overcharging and massively under delivering. So I basically, had that group set up for a while, just as a resource, as an open forum for people to go ahead, and talk about mentorships and that kind of stuff, and leave reviews. And actually, it was in there that I actually found some really, really amazing mentors that helped me scale my in-person business, which was like phenomenal. And like I ran a group coaching business for women in Chicago that did really, really well for a long time. And then I ended up finding a couple online coaches in there as well throughout the years when I was looking for coaches, because that group became like the pulse of the industry. Like, if I needed to know who was doing a good job, I would go to my own group and I would be like, oh, cool, this person's getting mentioned a lot. The reviews are really good. I'm going to go and, reach out and check out their program. So it was a way for me to kind of do homework.
Yeah.
So
you said something a moment ago that kind of stuck out to me. You had bought into this program. You felt under-equipped, right? A little let down, a little frustrated. And I don't think it was your fault, but you didn't get the coaching that you needed from that to then be able to turn around and provide a good service. So what you did was sold, did exactly what they taught you to do. And then you sold a $3,000 program to someone who then felt probably very similar to you, right? She probably scraped up that 3,000, paid for it the same way you did, probably just as scared. We don't know what her financial situation is like. And it's this cycle that continues over and over in digital marketing and specifically online health coaching and fitness, right? Like people get bad coaching and then they provide bad coaching and then people get burnt and then they don't buy and then they give negative reviews to everybody and all their friends and then they don't buy. And that's why, in my opinion, that's why so many coaches get more objections than they ever have, is because the trust in the industry has been virtually destroyed.
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
I mean, I totally agree. They're so skeptical. And, now, the group has grown so much. I mean, we have like 5,300 people in it. Like people come in and they either just got burnt, so they're really jaded, and or they've been through a bunch of mentorships and they feel like they're all the same. And so they're not like, they don't really know what to do. Or they keep seeing this guy or girl's ads everywhere. They're being shoved in their face and they want to know if they, if they can have the Lamborghini too that the person's standing in front of. So there's a lot of pressure from a marketing standpoint on coaches to, and social media contributes to this too. But there's this lifestyle, aspirational lifestyle marketing, which is really kind of a mind trip. And then there's these coaches who have so much money and they're just putting them into advertising and playing the volume game and not really delivering on quality. So I don't blame people for being skeptical at all.
I did a podcast with, if you guys don't know, JD Daly. He has a mentorship as well, where he helps people. He teaches them how to sell and then helps them for job placement, not in the health space, but kind of all over. He said something that stuck out to me so long ago. And it's, if you see a influencer more in their marketing than you do when you've actually joined their program, that is a problem. Yeah. That is somebody. And listen, okay. If you guys, I think I might have lost you there, AJ.
I'm still here.
Okay. I think the video just might be a connectivity issue.
Okay.
But
no
I think he was right when he said that. And I contemplated it for a long time because I'm like, well, you can get big enough and scale out of your business, but people are buying people generally. So if you see this person all in their marketing and you like the way that they talk and you like the lifestyle that they live, and then you join their program and you pay 10, 15, 30,000 and you don't ever get to interact with that person, I think that's a problem. I really do.
That's the norm, unfortunately. Like you have these big talking heads, characters who are out there doing all the marketing. And then when they get inside the program, they're using some like assistant coach who doesn't quite have that same kind of pizzazz, that magic that brought you into the program. And so there's a lot of letdown, even like right away. I'm seeing that with a lot of people who enter these programs.
And it's not that you can't scale out somewhat, but you should still play an active part in your coaching. Like there's a lot of coaches, I feel, and you have better insight than probably anyone else in the world, that they have these courses, they have these models, and then they just kind of let them sit because it worked in 2022.
Right.
And I think as well as I do, as well as everyone that's listening, the market changes. I mean, the market is not the same as it was 6 months ago, let alone a year ago, especially not 2020. Christ.
Yeah,
you know what I mean by that?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think it's really important too, because I think that a lot of these like quote unquote business coaches are out there just teaching like this one method that worked for them back in 2019 and 2020. That's not like business coaching. Like if you're a one trick pony, like that's cool, but like you're gonna shove that down the throats of like 200 students in your program and expect it to work the same for everyone. Like that's not business coaching. You're not teaching anyone about business. You're teaching them this, hey, there's the one model that happened to work for me. Let's see if it happens to work for you. And there's no other strategies I have. That's all I got.
That's exactly it. We had a funnel that worked in 2020, put a bunch of traffic. We put $100,000 a month in traffic behind it, but you can do the exact same.
Yeah.
It's
and that's
really
the
sad.
other thing is like the scale is so different too. Like, when you talk about ads, like some people are putting literally hundreds of thousands of dollars a month in, and of course it works for them because they can compete in the marketplace. But no, you with your $5 a day, no, you can't play. We're in a totally different sandbox here,
Yes. Yep. And so I would agree though. I think that's one of the most important things, and not to pat myself on the back here, but I don't want to scale out of my business. And that catches a lot of people off guard. I talked with a business coach, AJ, 2 months ago, and he asked me, he goes, okay, you're making good money per month now. What I do is I help people get to, 7 figures per month. And I was like, nah, I don't really want that. He goes, what do you mean you don't want that? Not interested. I'm happy. My clients are happy. We have a good product. We have a good system. I'm not stressed. I work great hours. I was like, I just want to optimize some different things here, here, and here. And he's like, oh, well, we wouldn't be a good fit. We specifically help those who want to scale to 8 and multi-8 figures. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, one, I appreciate you being able to tell me no. I can always appreciate that.
Yeah.
But two, people are so blown away when you tell them that you don't want to scale to the moon. Isn't that wild?
It is wild. And I think part of the reason that you and I connected is because you are so involved in your business and people are getting so much of you, when they're signing up. And I got word of that. And I was like, okay, there's another one who's doing it right in the industry, who's treating Fit Pros the way that they deserve to be treated.
Sorry,
and usually
AJ,
showing up. Who's showing up?
It cut out there the whole time. So I didn't hear a word. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I was just saying the reason you and I connected is because I got word that you were doing a great job with your business and with your clients who are in your business, and
Nice.
treating Fit Pros the way that they deserve to be treated and showing up in the way that they deserve and expect. And that says a lot about the fact that you actually care for your client success. You're not just wanting to shuffle people in for money and hand them off to a coach and just not really be that connected to their end results.
Yeah, I wish it went without saying, but I appreciate it. I really do. So tell me, AJ, like what are some of those like key indicators that you teach your clientele? What are some of the key indicators you really look for in a coach who has high integrity?
Yeah, I mean, I think a couple of the really important things that I look for and try to have my my audience look for is how they come to you is probably how they're going to have you go to other people. So if they're showing up cold with no business to even message you in your DMs, that's probably what they're going to have you be doing. So are you comfortable with that? That does work. It's a lot of volume and not many people are into that these days, but like that's probably what you're going to be doing. So I'm not saying it's necessarily an integrity issue, but like pay close attention to how they're coming to you.
Makes sense.
A couple other things. I don't know. I'm really not into flashy marketing. It's a huge red flag for me. So chances are, if they're standing in front of their mansion or their supposed Lamborghini or their private jet or their 2 Comma Club award thing, I'm just like, I don't know. It just doesn't really do it for me. For me, that's an immediate no.
Let me just block that out. Sorry about that, guys.
I don't mind. Yours is well deserved. And I'm not saying it's just like you see these people that use it so much as leverage, and it's like, oh, I got this thing. Yeah. So that means I have this authority to charge whatever I want, and you just need to deal with the deliverables.
Shift my camera a little bit. I know exactly what you mean, though. I mean, I think it's a well-known thing in the industry. Most of those big fancy cars are rented. People put on this facade, and it's like if you're faking your marketing, what do you think the inside of the program is? You know what I mean?
What would be really impressive for me is like, I don't care how successful you are. I don't care how many Lamborghinis you have because you sold a bunch of stuff. If your clients are all getting Lamborghinis, that is marketing I would like to see.
There you go. Yes. Like, show me your client wins.
Yeah, just because you're selling a bunch of stuff doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean it's good. Plenty of people out there making a whole lot of money and not doing any good in the world. So show me your clients are being successful, and then I'm a buyer.
I like that. I like that a lot, actually, because I don't want to contribute. And maybe this is me being selfish, and maybe this is a limited mindset, and I'm sure I'll get grilled by somebody for saying this. But if I see your marketing is all you just blowing it on chains and all this crazy fancy stuff, I don't really care to contribute to that. Yeah. Even if the product's great, if I like and subscribe to someone else's beliefs more, right, I'm gonna go with them every single time because people buy people, and I do the exact same thing. So if I align with somebody a little bit better on those beliefs, and if that's your belief, like if that's the lifestyle you want, there's nothing wrong with it. Like you can strive for whatever it is you want, so long as it's not affecting other people. So if that is the lifestyle you want, great. But me personally, I buy from someone who is where I want to be.
Yeah, no, exactly the same. If I go back to a second too, like the group, the way I set it up initially, I actually realized that it wasn't as productive as I wanted it to be, because it ended up just being a really negative place where people were just talking about how much money they were getting ripped off.
Right.
And I was like, well, cool. So I set up this thing. I have good intentions, and it's not having the impact that I want it
A
to.
complaint center. Yeah.
It's a complaint center,
Yeah.
and it was really negative. And I was like, I can't, this is not what I want. And it's also not where I want to spend my time. Like I want to spend my time, in a positive environment and,
Sure.
actually be helping people. So what I started noticing is that, people will be leaving really great reviews for some people and not great reviews for other people. And I was like, you know what, I should listen to this community. My God, there's flies everywhere in my yard. I should listen to this community. And so what I started doing then is I actually went and started going out and curating the high integrity mentorships that are, that I heard about in my group, and reaching out to them and saying, hey, I have this group. It seems like you're doing a really good job. Would you be open to connecting, letting me audit your program? So actually like vet their programs. They give me access to their programs. They drop me in their support communities to make sure that the support that's promised up front is also being delivered on the back end.
Sure.
And I end up kind of being a customer liaison between the members that are in my community and the programs that I help them sign up for. So by promoting the people who are doing a great job, I found that not only was I bringing up awareness, but I was actually guiding people towards really good products and services that they were actually getting good results on. And that's kind of the direction that I ended up taking the group in the end, because that's the impact that I wanted to have by creating the group.
Sure. And I'll say that was one thing, just to give the audience a bit of context here. AJ and I connected maybe 2 months ago. From one of my clients is in his program, and now we share a few. But when he vetted C4F, I was blown away. He joined our Slack channel. He's in the course. He's like, he was call recordings, and you interviewed some of my clients, like 3 of them, and asked them, basically went through like an entire, interview process. I was blown away by that. I told my head of sales, Wayne, I was like, this guy's legit. Like I would take this guy's recommendation if I were a Fitpro, because of the level of attention that you actually took. Like you went way beyond what I thought. And I'm fine with it. I was just like, holy smokes, this guy is thorough. So I appreciate that a ton.
Well, I think it's really important too, because, I think because people are so skeptical in this industry in the first place, I understand that my name is behind all my recommendations. So if I'm doing this vetting, it really needs to be from a good place, and make sure that my members are really being well taken care of. I'm very customer centric. Customer service is everything to me. And so, even when someone signs up for like your program, Brent, I'm checking in after they do. It's not just say, hey, cool, like glad you got connected with Brent. I want to know how they're doing. And if something comes up, and sometimes it does, I can reach out to the coach and be like, hey, what's going on with this? Let me just check in and make sure everyone's getting, equally. Obviously there's a responsibility of the mentor, but also of the student, to be doing their part. So I always check in and make sure people aren't falling through the cracks, but also that the student is doing their part in the mentorship as well.
Yeah. I mean, that's just it. So long as both parts are equal, right? The blame game isn't being tossed around. I just put up a post today, no program, no matter how fancy, how sexy the marketing is, how many times you've seen the ads, no program will work unless you do, right?
Yeah,
you show up ready and willing to put in the work. So I like that you actually take the steps to make sure that they are getting along well in the program, because some programs can start great and go to shit. So you're keeping them updated. And these students aren't paying you anything, are they?
No, the group is completely free. We have over 75 trainings in the group that are completely free from the best coaches in the industry. They've come in, and we've had them just give value first trainings, and they just kind of stay in the group as this great library to guide people. But yeah, everything is free. What my intention was with the group, that if it was going to be monetized, none of it would be coming from the members themselves, because I started the group having been ripped off a lot of money, and most of the people who come into my group don't have a ton of money to invest. And so if I can get them into a position where they can afford to invest, then hopefully they come to me as a trustworthy place to go and find their next business coach, and everyone wins.
Yeah. And another thing to note too that impressed me is I'm not even allowed in the group, guys. AJ won't let me in. It's not to be tainted by any coaches. How do you maintain kind of that status that how do I say? Because someone in your position, and maybe I've just been watching too much Netflix, but you could, you know what I mean? You could be paid off, you could be sponsored, just like YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
people do I like watching like reviews of products. I don't know why. I have no idea. But on YouTube, they're like, I have to, disclaimer, they did send me this for free. So how do you kind of avoid that? Or has that ever become an issue where someone's like, why are you recommending this person so much?
No, I mean, I'm very transparent in my group, so we do have affiliate links set up in the group, so that if someone does make a purchase
Mhm.
within the group, it does help energize the group. Allows me to
Sure.
I do these clarity calls 4 days a week where I just help people for free. It helps me do that.
Nice.
Helps me find people like you and bring them into my group.
Hmm.
So I'm always very transparent about that because I really, I really think I deserve people's trust. I'm really doing this for the right reasons.
Yep.
And because again, my reputation's behind it. So it's
Exactly.
so important for me to have the best interest of the members of my group. Because otherwise, like, I wouldn't have much trust going on in my community. And
Hmm.
it's literally everything to me.
Yeah.
So
Good point.
I've had mentors try and come in the group. I've had staff of mentors try and come in the group, and I don't know if you know this, but I'm a one man show. Like, I vet everyone who comes
I
into the
didn't
group.
know that.
I look at their profile. I make sure that they're not attached to anyone who's who's running a business coaching program, but also my members. I do like weekly announcements and say, hey, just so you guys know, there's no cold DMing or mentors allowed in the group. So if you see someone who's not supposed to be
Yeah.
here, please let me know, and I'll PayPal them actually for helping me keep the group clean because it means that
Wow.
much to me.
I love this. I love the concept. Okay. So walk me through. Let's say, someone, Sally's listening to the podcast right now, and she's like, I was really considering my next coach. Maybe I'll join this group. Walk me through that process. How do you help somebody get, I suppose, placed?
Yeah, so really good question. So first of all, Sally would join the group. When she does, she would get a welcome message from me,
Hmm.
welcoming her to the community, thanking her so much for joining, and offering her a free clarity call where I can just chat with you about your goals, your business. I don't give blanket recommendations ever.
Hmm.
I want to know where they're at. I want to know about their business. I want to know where they're coming from and where they're wanting to go and what's
Sure.
stopping them from getting there. I want to know what their budget is. I want to know what their learning style is. I want to
Hmm.
know who's on their radar so I can get an idea of, what they're thinking as far as mentorship goes. And then we just talk about some good options that are available to them. And then they go back into the group and they can research those people. So if they had an idea of, a certain mentor already, they can go in and check out reviews, and they can compare. I always just have them compare to a couple tried and true options where there's
Hmm.
tons of data about them. There's tons of reviews. There's trainings in the group so they can get to know them a little bit. And just at least at the end of the day, they can make their own decisions, but it's a well-rounded one, which is
Sure.
the thing that I didn't really get to do when this group wasn't around.
Yeah. It's, as you sit and say this, what we were talking about earlier, like how so many clients are jaded on the B2C side. It'd be nice. I know they've got Google and Yelp and all these things, but they I don't know, many people. I mean, some coaches are on Google and like that is an option. It's like, I wish this existed for the B2C sector because there are a
Yeah.
lot of people that are just very sketched out. And what they'll do typically is they'll just go to someone local. They'll pay insane prices for in person. They'll get like 1 or 2 check-ins a week, and they won't
Mm-hmm.
get the same results because I think we can collectively agree. And again, you can send all your hate mail, support@closersforfitness.com. I think online training provides better results than in person, just from what I've seen.
Yeah,
But
I agree.
people will still pay a higher price and get a lesser service in person because they're so sketched out by this online concept. So, yeah, I was just thinking like that would be such a nice thing to have.
I know it would be cool. It's funny you say that because I remember I was in person for 12 out of my 14-year fitness career, and I remember trying to get my in-person clients to go online, and they're like, "Wait, why am I going to pay you money if you're not there?" They like
Yeah.
couldn't possibly understand it. And I was a good trainer. Like, I was 120
Yeah.
bucks an hour. Like, I had clients with me for 6-8 years at a time, and they just couldn't compute it. It didn't make any sense to them. So,
Yep.
yeah,
It's a big shift.
it's always funny trying to convert.
Yeah, it is a big shift. So It sounds like you kind of have like a nice and a naughty list almost of coaches. Is that kind of what it is? Like you have like the green list and the red list?
It's more of a mental list for me. Like, we have the green list is in the group, and people can search our featured mentors in our pinned posts, and
Okay.
and they can obviously look at reviews of all kinds of mentors, who I have and
Mhm.
have not vetted. But I don't keep like a blacklist. If someone wants to know someone about somebody, they can have a conversation with me,
Mhm.
and I just let them know, what I see in the group, and also, and probably more prominently, is what I hear in the DMs. Because a lot of people come into my group and they'll be like, "Hey, I just got to this program, and man, it was a terrible experience." And sometimes they're not really in a position where they want to leave a review about that person. Either they don't have time,
Mhm.
or it's just not their focus right now, or whatever. But they at least let me know about it, and I keep stock of that.
Sure.
Because if someone comes in repeatedly and wants to work with these people, I'm going to be like, "Hey, here's some background that I'm hearing about this person. Just want to let you know. Still consider them, but let me introduce you to one or two other people whose track records are much better, who
Mhm.
you may not even heard of before, but you can check out reviews of them in my group, just so you can at least make a
Mm.
confident decision."
Have you found any commonalities between like the people that you tend to recommend the most? I know everyone comes to you for, hey, AJ, I want to get better at sales. AJ, I want to get better at lead gen or this or that or this. I want to feel alignment, whatever it is that they come for. I know that you're recommending them to different coaches. Have you found commonalities in the great coaches versus or more in comparison to the not so great?
Yeah, it's weird. I find that the not so great coaches are the ones that you see most often on your social media feed
All right. All right. That is
with their
interesting.
with their advertising dollars. What I
Yeah.
mean. Like, obviously,
Yeah.
organic posting, yeah, everyone should be doing, but like, some of the best people are not in your face marketing because
Hmm.
they don't need to,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah. This rolls.
The other thing that I really notice is, there's like a genuineness about them that you could really, really feel. There's a lot of like bro marketing out there. And like I said, a lot of aspirational marketing. And it's like, I
Hmm.
tend to see a lot better service come out of the people who are really genuine, who are not using those kind of tactics and strategies to
Hmm.
put one over their audience. They're actually like really delivering. And then the coaches who are really more involved in their programs, who are open to feedback, who are not just sending people back to
Hmm.
modules if they're having problems, who are really willing to take the time, and who are really even willing to listen to feedback. If someone's like, "Hey, your assistant coach is
Sure.
great, but here's a couple things that I'm noticing. Here's how I'm feeling," and they'll really take that on board and sit down with the assistant coach and make it better. That's the sign of a real great mentor for me. I'm not like, no one's
Hmm.
perfect, but like sometimes in those other programs where it's more of a guru vibe, they don't take any responsibility. They will not listen to your feedback. If you're not
Yep.
looking back at that module and doing it right, the problem is you. I'm not saying
Yep.
that's not the case sometimes, but like, can't we all just look inward a little bit and be like, maybe I can listen to this feedback here a little bit and hear what they're
Hmm.
really trying to tell me.
Yeah. That's a great point. It's funny because before this call, I host we host several group calls almost every day of the week for our students, and then obviously we have like the one-to-ones and stuff. But we updated a ton of stuff in our script for the push pull buying process, and it was funny because I'm like, some of the stuff that I'm updating I heard from you guys. We're on role plays, and someone just laid down like a nasty word track, and I'm like, well, hold on. Stop. What did you just say there? That was beautiful. And then we'll
That's
actually,
awesome.
I have like a part, like a separate document where I'll write these down, and then we'll practice it. And if it fits, it makes it into the script. So it's just funny that you mentioned like the feedback thing, because we were literally just talking about this. I'm like, some of these word tracks are not even mine. Like, it's from you guys just absolutely crushing these role plays. What we're going to do is we're going to enter the speed round, guys. So this is for you guys to get to know AJ a little bit better, and then myself if you're interested. So I have 3 random questions that I've selected. AJ does not know what the questions are. I want the first answer that pops off from the top of your head. This is non-business related. Okay, I think you provided a ton of value throughout this episode. I think people would be crazy, by the way, to not go to your group. It's free. It's another layer of security before you make an investment that could be, again, upwards of 5, 10, 20K before you make that investment. And this is coming from me who literally is like on the other end of what he's doing. I think you should go get another perspective before you buy. Um, ideally before you hop on a call with with me or someone from our team, talk to AJ first. So anyway, guys, 3 questions off the top. AJ, what was your favorite vacation and where was it?
Let's see. My favorite vacation was Puerto Vallarta, I think.
Okay.
On my honeymoon now, like 9 years ago.
Where is that at?
Sorry?
Is that Mexico?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
We're in Mexico. Just had a
Beautiful.
good time. Yeah. We married really young, and then had kids right away, so we had to like kind of delay our honeymoon. So it was like a very well needed, well deserved trip.
There you go. Sounds incredible. We are my passport should be coming in the mail any day. I am 28 years old. I've never had a passport, so we will finally get to go to Mexico this winter. Can you believe it?
Nice. Yeah, you gotta go. I think you'll love it.
Yeah, I got to get it with the times here. Okay. My
Yes,
favorite
you do.
vacation, I got to be honest, ChatGPT. I tell ChatGPT to generate 3 random questions. I choose my favorite, but I don't ever choose answers before I come to the podcast, which I should. My favorite vacation, I gotta say, is Montana. Every time I go to Montana, have you been, AJ?
Never. I wouldn't even think to, but maybe you're gonna sell me on it.
I no affiliate commissions here. It's just beautiful, man. It's I'll say this about Montana. I like to get away from all the hustle and bustle. I bust my butt all week long, and then weekends, we're typically either on the lake or out hiking, kind of away from everyone. Montana, you don't have a choice. Like when you leave one of the very few cities, your phone doesn't work. Okay, so you better have GPS pulled up, and you're just out and away from everyone, just nature. It's some of the most beautiful terrain you've ever seen. So,
Wow, sounds
Montana,
amazing, actually.
yeah,
All right,
Montana is like
next
going
trip.
30 years back in time. Not even kidding. Except for like in Kalispell, but anything outside of like the city, incredible. All right, next question. What is something you enjoy doing that would surprise some listeners? Like a secret
What
hobby.
do I enjoy doing? Good question.
Yeah. What do you like to do, AJ?
I'm believe it or not, I really enjoy working, and I think that part of my one of the things I'm working on about myself is finding different hobbies that I can get into.
Okay.
I'm trying to take up pickleball because I
Dude,
don't know if
don't
it's
even get me
popular by
started.
you, but it's oh, no.
Oh,
now,
don't
now you
even
now
get
you
me
need to
started.
come out here and play.
Oh, I play 7 days a week.
You really?
I play 2 to 3 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's gotten
Oh,
bad.
that's amazing. Okay,
Yeah.
I need to get up. I need to get up to your level, but that's something new that I wanted to start doing.
Do it.
Because I don't have a lot of hobbies. I work too much, which I actually really enjoy. But yeah, gotta get
Just
out there and do some
get into it.
fun
Let
stuff.
me know. It's my day. I could share my screen and show my calendar every day at 5 p.m. Pickleball is huge here. People are probably getting. This is when all the viewers are going to start turning off the podcast because every podcast I managed to work in my pickleball stories, but it's big here. We're in Cornelius, so just outside of Charlotte, and it's like a little bit like more middle-aged crowd. And boy, I mean, they eat it up. Friday nights, there's 6 courts going. There's speakers everywhere. There's lights, so you're playing till like 10 p.m. Everybody's got their drinks and like their Yeti cups. Dude.
I want that pickleball rush that you're getting at.
God bless it. Emotions get soaring. People storming off the courts. It's amazing. My random hobby. I think I said this on the last podcast too. People are gonna think I'm a strange person. I like lawn care. I'm a very simple person. Brooke, she knows what my dream is. We're not actively looking just yet, but when we settle down, we're looking for a piece of land. We'd like to build a house. My one criteria is that we have a couple acres. So because like we're going back home to Ohio. So like my favorite thing, we have my dad has a tractor with like a big brush hog. You just mow like the acreage. That's all I want to do. That's my life. I just want to retire and mow the lawn all day.
Just want to manicure the lawn all day. That's amazing.
Yeah.
The simple things. We want to play. You should build a pickleball court on your land.
Oh
obviously.
God, don't tempt me because I will. And they're small.
You
They're
should.
they're
Yeah.
actually, I was inquiring with someone at the court about costs on that, so I may. All right, last question. If you could have any superpower in the entire world, what would it be and why?
Man, you've got good stuff, man.
Yeah, GPT has good stuff.
ChatGPT, sorry. I'm not gonna give you the credit.
Yeah, don't.
Yeah, no. Um, I don't know if I'd actually want this, but I think living forever would be something that I really want to do. I really, really
Really?
love, enjoy life. Yeah,
Wow.
I don't know, like, yeah, even in bad times, I'm just like, man, I'm so grateful just to like be here, and I
Yeah.
really enjoy people and connecting with people, and so yeah,
Wow.
I don't know if that's that. I think I might regret that. There's probably
Hmm.
a lot of downside to that I haven't thought through, but yeah,
Yeah.
I love life a lot.
What's the movie like Hancock or something with Will Smith? Like he
Will Smith,
lived
yeah,
like 300 years old, and I don't know, man. To each their own. I would be pretty
yeah,
sad. And then
probably,
think about how many
probably.
dogs you'd go through in your lifetime. So, not to take a negative turn. My superpower would be to just transport. I would like to
Oh,
transport, so I
nice.
could I could just be at my desk and be like, boom, Montana, boom, the beach.
I like that.
That's all I
No
want.
travel time, no traffic. I like it.
Zero. Yep. Just transport when and where I want. AJ, this has been a blast, dude. I think you've given, well, I know you've given me a ton of insight, and I hope you've given a lot of viewers a lot of insight as to kind of what's out there as far as tools. Before you go make that big scary investment, again, whether it's with me, whether it's with anyone else, just do your research, invest with confidence, because what we found is the people that come in with confidence, the people that come in with excitement, do a lot better than the ones that come in with that mentality that's like, oh shit, what did I just do? Right? That
Yeah,
mentality it can kind of cripple you for the first several weeks. And then if you don't really get that momentum after you buy into a program, just from my experience and what I've seen, if you don't come in and get those quick wins and build that momentum, it's really hard to pick it up like 2-3 months in. Would you agree?
I was going to hope you would let me chime in here because I'm such a huge believer that how you come into something is how it's going to go. And so if you're brought into a program under stress and under financial promises, you're going to have unrealistic expectations of the program,
Mm-hmm.
of yourself, of the mentor. And
Yep.
so yeah, I can't express that enough how much I agree with you. Confidence and trust, if you don't have those going in, you might as well not even get going.
Yeah, I agree 100%. We just put up a post today. We brought in three coaches last week, or 2 weeks ago. We brought in three coaches, and the average time for them to make an ROI was 7.3 days to make
Wow.
100% pay off the investment. And so like that, I think is like my greatest testimony that I can offer to anyone who's listening. I don't have a Lamborghini yet, but damn it, our clients make money back fast, and they're pure profit. They're in the green for the next 5.8 months. And
Amazing.
now it what it does, without going on a tangent, it allows them to take a breath, you know, make decisions a little bit more relaxed, and in turn they sell more when they're more relaxed. So AJ, it's been a blast, guys. If you are looking to get into his Facebook group, again, it is free. I'm not even allowed in there, but I hear great things from this. Okay, it's going to be in the bio. Okay, and then if you're hearing this from an email, go back, check the email. Link's going to be in there as well. AJ, I appreciate you tremendously, my friend. Thank you for hopping on.
I appreciate you, man. Thanks so much for having me.